I usually start by looking for a verse, a scripture verse for every book. And this one, I was so excited about it. And it's from Matthew, and I even wrote it down so I wouldn't misquote it. But it's from chapter 6 in the book of Matthew, and it says, "So don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will have its own worries. Each day has enough trouble of its own." I hadn't heard this before until I started researching and going through it, and especially at least not in this version. And it just made me smile. It sounded very Amish, but also so true.
We'll talk about this and much more today. Welcome to a Writer's Day podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to Writer's Day podcast. My name is Ruth Douthit, and I'm an author of books in various genres. I started off and I love to write fantasy. I do fantasy coloring books, books for middle grade readers, spooky ghost story series, and I also do women's contemporary adventure fiction, I call it, and it's set in Italy. And now I am doing suspense, and book 3 of my Desert Shadow suspense series releases next month. So you can go over to Amazon and pre-order Fatal Truth. That's book 3 in the Desert Shadow suspense series. And I think you're really going to love this story. It's more adventure for Emma and Liam. They are private investigators checking out the suicide of the mayor of the small town they both grew up in. And so what's happened? Did he get murdered, or did he really commit suicide? Well, as in all small towns, once they uncover one secret, a whole bunch of secrets are uncovered. And so check out Fatal Truth, the last book in the Desert Shadow suspense series that wraps up Emma and Liam's adventures as private investigators. And also head over to artbyruth.com to sign up for my newsletter, where you'll learn more about my upcoming projects like Fatal Truth, my Christmas novella that's coming out. It's a cozy mystery set in the same town that last year's cozy mystery was set in, so it's a sequel. And also about my upcoming suspense books for next year. So head over to artbyruth.com to sign up for my newsletter. And if you like today's episode, be sure and subscribe over at my YouTube channel and follow me on Spotify and leave a comment. I'd love to know what you think of today's episode. Shelley Shepard Gray is with me again today to talk about her new book. She is the New York Times USA Today bestselling author of more than 2 million copies. That's right. She has sold more than 2 million copies across 100 plus books. She is my hero. And she's here today to talk about a new Amish series that she's starting. And she'll be talking about book 1 in the Amish Widows Club series. So you know the drill. Grab your favorite beverage, a comfortable chair, kick back and relax as we listen to Shelley Shepard Gray talk about her new book. Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to have Shelley Shepard Gray with me again. Welcome back, Shelley.
Thank you, Ruth. I'm delighted to be here.
Of course, yeah, I always love talking to you about your amazing books. So why don't you tell us what you've been up to so far in 2026? I can't believe we're almost halfway through the year.
You know, I was at the post office today waiting in line, and I'm one of those annoying people that chat to everybody in line. And that was the consensus, is everyone's talking about what are you doing for July 4th, which is just crazy that we're going to be, that'll mark over halfway through the year. So it has gone by fast, but I have been busy. I've been writing a lot because that's what I like to do. And also spending as much time as I can with my 4 grandchildren. So we have one that's 5, one that's 3, and 2 that were born in 2 months of each other, and they're roughly about 18 months. So.
Oh, how beautiful. What a blessing.
It is a blessing. My husband and I just talk about it all the time. We wish our children were closer, but it definitely gives me a reason to travel.
I was going to say, are they in the same state, but they're not. They're far away.
No, no, I'm in Northern Ohio in Cleveland area. One is lives in Louisville, Kentucky, which is about a 4 or 5 hour drive, and the other one lives just south of Nashville, which is it's just long enough that you think maybe I should have flown. So but every trip is worth it. And we just had everybody together over Memorial Day, and we always
Oh.
make my daughter host because she's kind of in the middle, and it's fantastic.
Oh, that's wonderful. But I'm sure the drive to Kentucky and then Tennessee, that's got to be some scenic drives there. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
it is. It's gorgeous. And I my husband and I love to go the scenic route, like get off the internet net and kind of do the back roads. And I've
Mm-hmm.
done so many library events over the last couple of decades in Ohio and in Kentucky that we're familiar with a lot of places. We'll be like, oh, we should go over on the river and go to the Kentucky side and go get coffee. So we make it fun. It's fun no matter what.
Yeah, I'd always wanted to go to Kentucky. I'd love to see the horses and visit where Secretariat is, the farm where Secretariat was. That's like a dream of mine to see those rolling hills. And oh, you're so blessed to live out there. When we drive 5 hours, like from here to San Diego, it's nothing but desert, desert,
Right.
and more desert. So it's not very scenic at all. But where you are, every direction is gorgeous. Wow.
It really is, and you're right. At Kentucky, the farm country is everything you would dream it to be. So yes, I hope you get to come out this way one day soon.
Well, so you said you've been busy writing. Are you working on more, are you doing it more Amish or what kind of books are you working on now?
I am so happy. I've been working for three publishers right now. Two of them are I write Amish books for them. One is I'm doing these ABC books that are all kind of traditional Amish romances, and then I'm writing some Harlequins for their Harlequin Heartwarming series, which is their kind of family-friendly, sweet small town romances. And then finally, I have actually already written and done through the revision process with all three books in this Amish Widows Club from Ravel. They went ahead and had me write them back to back to back, and I'm delighted. It kept me really busy, but there was none of that. Gosh, I wonder what happened in book one. I felt I'm like I just wrote book one, so I worked hard on that series, and now I get to reap the rewards with the first book, The Unexpected Caller, coming out at the beginning of July, and it's followed right on its heels in September by the second book in this series. And then right after the Christmas holidays, I think either in January or February, we'll have the last book. So for everyone that hates waiting 6 months or a year for the next, installment of a series, this isn't that series. They're coming out quick.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I've noticed that's kind of a trend now with with the bigger publishers, is they seem to be asking their authors to, you know, have a book ready to go pretty much every 4 to 6 months, which is unusual. They used to do the 18 months to 2 years between books. But
It's just my sense. I mean, I'm a reader myself. I love to, I can't go to the library or the bookstore fast enough. And I'm always like, "Ugh, what do you mean they have to turn in the next book? This book two is next year." I'm always like ask my husband, what do you think they're doing? So I'm delighted. I'm used to it when I used to write books for Avon Inspire. That's how I started writing Amish fiction. And gosh, I think for 8 or 10 years, I turned in a book every 3 months. So
Yeah, and
I wrote 4 books a year for them. Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of the bigger publishers are getting into that now. And I'd like to think that we indie authors are kind of putting the pressure on them because we release books. I try and do 4 books a year, so I think we're kind of putting pressure on them to keep
Well,
up with all of us.
and Ruth, I think you're exactly right. I mean, I love indie books, and in a lot of ways, I just really admire indie authors because, well, one, y'all do everything, and I wish I was more talented in many ways, but also, I love that. There, some people are pushing the boundaries a little bit, and in the best ways possible. And so, and one of them, I think, is, some authors really can get out books fairly quickly, and they're not held back by what the publisher says you should do.
Well, let's talk about the first book in the Amish Widows Club, The Unexpected Caller. First of all, tell us about this Amish Widows Club. How did you come up with this idea?
I don't really know where it came from. Probably because at church and everything else, you talk to women and they're like, I'm in a book club or I'm in, this or that kind of group. And they have found just a lot of wonderful things about it besides, say, reading a book. Like, deep, fresh friendships have formed. And I've always thought, well, just because someone is Amish doesn't mean that they aren't going to want to, have a big group of girlfriends. Now that said, I started just trying to think, well, I wonder, I wonder what happens when someone is widowed, because someone had told me, and it really isn't strictly true, that if a woman is fairly young, she's encouraged to marry right away. And I was thinking, what if a woman doesn't want to marry right away? I mean, that's a lot. So that's kind of where I came up with this idea. It's a not so secret society that I made up in my Amish country in County. I should probably say there really isn't an Amish club. My Amish friends have assured me there is not an Amish club, but they all got a kick out of it, honestly. And how the book opens is our heroine, Leanna, she's been widowed over a year, 18 months, and she's still fairly young. She's in her late 30s, and the men have decided it's time to come calling. And the first line in the book is, she was so tired of being nice. And she was just, her nerves were getting frayed because every couple of nights there would be someone else on a formal call. And she didn't want to get married again. It wasn't that her marriage was unhappy, but it wasn't happy. And so it was kind of in that in between. She was settled. She thought that was going to be her life. The other unexpected caller is a lady named Doreen. She's the lady who forms the Amish Widows Club. And at the end of the first chapter, she shows up and she kind of invites herself into Leanna's house and presents a card. And it says the Amish Widows Club. And so she's been granted membership.
Oh, but she's so young. Is she wondering, wait a minute, surely these are going to be older women, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and and it was great fun. I mean, I kind of I would just, as I was dreaming of this, I was like, well, should it all be Amish? Should they all be in the same church district? Could there be Mennonite? I mean, it was funny me trying to make up rules to a society that I'm not a part of, and I wouldn't belong anyway. But it was fun. It was fun to come up with a lot of personalities, and to come up with quite a cast of some secondary characters, of everyone that really is like everyone's girlfriend you've met maybe in high school.
Mhm.
There's some are just the best, some are sweet, some are so good, some are kind of mean. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, those are fun. I love reading about those ensemble casts, where each
I
person's different. And
Yeah, but what was the challenge is I got so excited about all these scenes, as and I was like, oh yeah, I write romances. So then I had to have a neighbor who had been kind of looking out for her all along. When he shows up, he's a nervous wreck because he's secretly had a crush on Leanna, and
Mm.
she thinks he's just there to like see if she needs help mowing her lawn because that's what he and his sons have been doing. Anyway, he's all, cleaned up and ready, and he catches her off guard, and it's everything you would expect of a horrible first date or
First
calling
meet.
session. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's crushed. She's confused. And she's like, do I avoid him? But he's been helping me. It's a thing. So it was fun. There was a lot of serious threads going through this, just about marriage and vows and love and expectations and just widowhood. And so it kind of stretched me a little bit, and I'm really grateful I had the opportunity to work on these books.
Oh, wonderful. Now, is this man Evan in the
Uh,
story? Is it okay? Yeah.
his
So tell
name
us,
is Evan. Yeah, Evan Kime. Yeah.
okay, tell us a little bit about his story.
Well, he is kind of a handyman. He's just got he is not a farmer, but he had a bunch of sons. I think he had four sons, and three of them are married. And the youngest, his name is Jeremy, and he's 17, and he's there. So he's just kind of he never really thought that Leanna's husband treated her just as well as he would have. It's kind of like a country song, where they're looking longingly like I would be the right guy. That was Evan, and of course he kept his distance. So he is just really hoping to have a chance for her. And he kind of fumbles a little bit. He's a little maddening just because he takes one step forward and two steps back. And then when he finds out she's in this group of widows and she has no interest in ever marrying again, well, it throws him for a loop too.
Mm.
But luckily, he has his son Jeremy, who has fallen in love too. Jeremy has his own point of view, and it's a senior in high school. So Jeremy's Amish. The girl he likes is English.
Mm.
And it turns out Jeremy is doing a lot better at courting than his dad, and so he starts being his confident and kind of guru.
Yeah. Now you said Evan is a widower.
Yes, yeah, and so he does have that in common, which I think is how he finally gets through to Leanna, because he unlike Leanna, he had a wonderful marriage, and it was he was very heartbroken. So it just after, but she died a long time ago. So
Oh,
he's been on his own. He raised his boys on his own, and uh, so that was why he kind of was able to have a little bit of a crush on Leanna because he had been alone
okay.
so long.
Okay, yeah. Well, in the Amish faith, though, are they almost required to get married right away if they lose a spouse?
I asked my Amish friends that, and they kind of gave me the look that they usually do when I ask things like this, like. No, there is no set rule, really.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean, and I think it makes sense. I think they're practical people, so I would imagine if the Amish couple, the husband was well off, or they, whatever reason he saved a lot, she doesn't need to work. I think it'll give her some choices. If that isn't the case, the Amish do have groups for the widows and orphans, but I think any any woman in 2026, whether you're Amish or not. She doesn't necessarily want to be the community's charity case. So I think
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's an individual choice. I've met some women who are just like, I've been widowed 30 years and I don't need to get married again. And some other,
Hmm.
it's very different.
Yeah, me too. I work with grief support, and whenever I talk with widows, it really depends on the woman,
Yeah.
you know. Some are
Yeah.
like, no, never ever again, and others they get married in a couple of years. But with the men, it's entirely different. They tend to get married sooner, remarried, sooner. So,
Right. Well, and it was that was one of the things when the book opens and Leanna is tired of being nice is some of the men their wives had died and now they have these young kids. And so
mm,
they're like, well, she's healthy and strong. She would be great to raise my children. And she wasn't too, she loved kids, but she wasn't too down for that. So it was like I said, it was a fun situation to think up, and every book, the widow situations are very different. The second book, the widow is just in her 20s, and
wow, yeah.
and the last book, the widow is in her late 40s, but she had a very different uh, a marriage than the other two. And so because of that, she's just not sure what to do.
Yeah. Did you talk with real life widows to help you out with some of the research?
Not like that I didn't know. By the time, I'm almost 60. By the time you get to my age and, between relatives and friends of friends, it is, I'm sure like a lot of your listeners, you meet all sorts of people. And it was I didn't focus on my on feelings just if I was Amish. I imagining it. I just thought, well, what would what were some of these things these widows have told me they experienced?
Well, that sounds like an amazing story. And, as Christian authors, we love to put themes in our stories of, to give our readers hope. And we definitely want to entertain them and make them laugh or swoon, but
Right.
we definitely want to give them hope. So, what are some of the more important themes that are woven throughout your story?
I think the first is forgiveness. Is she for both of them, for both the hero and the heroine. Just it's for Evan. One of the things is he had been happily married, and he was feeling almost as if he was betraying his first wife by actually giving in to this infatuation he had with Leanna. And Leanna just kind of also had to forgive, do some forgiveness of herself, of her husband, of the expectations she had of the family. And also even, the thing about a widows club is if you get married again, well, you're not part of the group. So then she had to think about that too, about joining something and then and then quitting eventually. As some that I usually start by looking for a verse, a scripture verse for every book, and this one I was so excited about it, and it's from Matthew, and I even wrote it down so I wouldn't misquote it, but it's from chapter 6 in the book of Matthew, and it says, "So don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will have its own worries. Each day has enough trouble of its own." And I hadn't heard this before until I started researching and going through it, and especially at least not in this version. And it just made me smile. It sounded very Amish, but also so true. And truly something I had told my kids over and over when they were growing up, let's just get through today. You stop worrying about what might happen. Let's go. Let's work on today. And I thought this was a great theme for the novel, is that God's going to take care of everything. And he's sure going to take care of tomorrow. So just, hang in there and stop worrying about things so much. He's got you. And I thought it was a nice reminder, especially some people that have been through difficult times. It was fun writing about heroes and heroines that have really experienced life. I've written a lot of Amish romances where the girls they're barely out of teens, and it's just there's a lot of good things to write about for an older heroine.
Absolutely. Oh, amen. That's a wonderful verse for this story. I love that. And those are important themes too. I think that will resonate with a lot of your readers, especially if they're about the same age as your protagonist, you know?
Right,
Right. Once we get up
right.
there in our
Yeah,
40s and 50s, you know.
yeah, I hope people they'll find a thread. And again, I love to write about things that anybody can go through. My characters just happen to be Amish.
So what's coming next for you other than the other Amish books? Are you working on anything else, another series or?
Yeah, I not right now with Ravel. We're gonna get through see how these books do, and then we'll see what's going on. I have a couple of letters that I'm doing these ABC books letter by letter. So I just turned an F. I have G coming up, and then again, these contemporary romances, they're set in a small town in Ohio. And this new series I'm just starting is all set around an animal shelter. So I like to rescue dogs. Um,
Oh,
and so I was chatting with my editor the other day, thinking, saying, how fun is this? I get to have people falling in love and helping dogs. So.
yeah.
So
Oh.
those are some of the things I'm working on.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. And so when does the unexpected caller release?
July 7th is the big day. It's in less than a month. So I'm so tickled about it. I hope everyone will enjoy it.
How exciting. Oh my goodness. Well, everyone, you can head over to Shelley Shepard Gray, her website, and she's also on Facebook and Instagram. And do you have a newsletter that you send out?
I do, and you know what? I've been working really hard on it. Well, okay, I can't say that. I asked an author friend who's way more talented than I am. She's been working really hard on it. Write all the content and send her the pictures, and for gosh, probably 18 months now, once a month, out comes a beautiful newsletter. So if anyone wants to give it a try, it would mean a lot to me if they did, because her name's Carrie. Carrie does such a beautiful job. And you can just go on my website and click on an icon. And I promise I'm not going to try and sell you anything. Just maybe you'd be interested in the newsletter.
Yeah, sounds great. Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. Well, I know that you're super busy, so I appreciate you taking time to come on my podcast and talk about this amazing story, this new series. So exciting. So thank you, Shelley. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Ruth. I know you're busy, just as busy as I am, and I always appreciate your time. Thank you.
That was so fun to listen to Shelley Shepard Gray talk about her new book, The Unexpected Caller, from the Amish Widows Club series, a new series that she has. And isn't that exciting that you'll only have to wait just a few months between books? That is amazing. And so I greatly admire her. And don't forget, you can go pre-order the book right now at Amazon, because it doesn't release until July, so you have time to pre-order the book. And head over to ShelleyShepardGray.com to sign up for her newsletter. That way you'll be up to date with all these books when they release. And I hope that you've been encouraged by this amazing story and of how Shelley wants to provide hope in her stories. This protagonist is not a young girl. It's a woman middle-aged, who lost her husband. So she's trying to reach out to us, women who are older and wiser. And I love that. I think that's a great idea. So head over and pre-order your copy and keep writing every day, no matter what. Make time for it. If it's important to you, if it's a priority in your life, you will make time for it. But most importantly, keep going forward. And I thank you so much for listening today. Until next time, God bless.